So many years ago, when the Star Trek universe was in difficulty, they took a big chance. They looked back at the old TV series version at a character called Kahn Sung, played by Ricardo Montalban. They developed a plot around his superiority of manhood and how it applies to the Star Trek universe, and came up with the movie Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. This stands out as one of the best science fiction movies of all time. Great script, great direction, kind of an unofficial sequel to Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which basically did okay at the box office, but had some difficulty in retaining its audience. Now, the plot of The Wrath of Khan is your typical Shakespearean, combination where the crew of the Starship Enterprise is in battle against Kahn Sung at the time of Spacey, the original appearance of the Ricardo Montalban character. He basically tried to take over the Enterprise. There was a Cobb was done at the end. He was given rights to uninhabited planet, and we find out quickly in the first few minutes of Wrath of Khan that where he was left led to the death of his wife and the death of many of his colleagues. Now, it's a cross-plot the movie about a terraforming device called Genesis, which literally could create a new planet. Khan finds out. He basically wants to exact revenge against Kirk for the death of his wife and his colleagues, and no pun intended, all hell breaks loose. Now, the script for Wrath of Khan has led to some controversy over the years, because there were some co-writers who were not recognized and different stuff. But the biggest controversy of Wrath of Khan was the snub of Ricardo Montalban for Best Supporting Actor nomination at the Oscars. I mentioned in some of my previous series that really strong performances in the 1980s were either bypassed or were not taken seriously. Now, a little bit of backstory: Ricardo Montalban, he was one of the top character actors from the late 40s, early 50s on, and he had played the lead character in Fantasy Alley, which was a great hit on television for a number of years. But in Wrath of Khan, he just chewed up scenery like you wouldn't believe, especially scenes with not in person with, but against Kirk, played by William Shatner. Now, it's a well-known fact that William Shatner was extremely jealous of Ricardo Montalban on the set. He believed he was taking away his glory, and I tend to agree. Every scene that Ricardo Montalban is in this movie is not only that close to madness, is that close to being king-like. Kahn Sung is from a great royal lineage. He had conquered the Eastern and Persian area, and the way he portrays Khan is so much a celebration of his training, his personality, his physicality, very physically imposing character. And Ricardo Montalban most times was more known for being handsome roles and not a gritty kind of film noir. If Star Trek ever turns to film noir interpretation, you'll probably start with Kahn Sung, a very much not even an anti-hero, sort of like villainy has been thrust upon him. He's lost all power, he's lost all sense of his mind, and he blames Kirk. And he was exiled about 15 years before he showed back up in the Star Trek universe. And when he showed back up, he was there to literally wreak havoc. Now, the second half of Wrath of Khan also talks about the connection with Kirk and Spock over the years, which leads to a very dramatic conclusion when, in the final battle, Khan almost destroys the Enterprise, and Spock must step in to save himself. Not say save the Enterprise and himself at the same time. Now, if you have a chance to see this on streaming services, DVD, there's a few extra scenes on the DVD. There's the extended version as well. The first 20 minutes of the movie are so in-depth that you have to maybe watch it 3 or 4 times to really get into it. Now, this movie kind of saved the franchise financially. It made quite a bit of money in the box office. And it set a world record for first day box office gross, which proved that, ever since the original series was cancelled in '69, there was still a demand for the heroes of the Enterprise. So, Ricardo Montalban, check out his IMDb page, check out Wikipedia, and let me tell you something. He died a few years ago, but we really miss him. We in the entertainment industry looked up to Montalban as being one of the most consistent performers of all time. He also did comedy as well. One of the Naked Gun movies. We wished people like him would come along more often, but because he was a creation of the studio system, multifaceted actor, also did commercials as well, the famous Corinthian leather with the car commercials. So again, on this pre-storm Thursday, we're looking at 2 feet of snow coming in New Brunswick. Keep your stick on the ice, but if you're stuck in during the storm, you do worse to watch Space Seed and Wrath of God back to back. You won't regret it. Have a good day. Bye.